Mike Briggs is our cattle market analyst this week. USDA data shows all fresh retail beef climbed to another new high during the month of November. The average cost of $5.98 per pound was 3 cents higher than October and 97 cents more expensive than a year ago. What could help the shopper's budget is the falling value of gasoline. The price at the pump has dropped for 11 straight weeks, and the U.S. Energy Information Administration expects the average U.S. household to spend $550 less on gasoline in 2015. We talked with Mike Wednesday morning about demand next year, slaughter weights, and the recent slide in cattle markets.
Yeah, I'm not going to laugh and smile this time when you ask me. We've really rolled this market over, and I think a lot of it is just funds. The funds are so big and powerful in these commodity markets, and everybody loves them when they're pushing the market your way. But when those guys decide it's time to get out, it's like people trying to get out of a burning theater, and it just hammers it and hammers it. You know, we've been down limit 2 days in a row. We've taken, I don't know, $15 out of this thing in the last 10 days. I think today we maybe found some footing, so we'll kind of see if we can stop here. I don't think we're going to shoot right back up, though. I think it's going to have to be a slow grind, and some cattle feeders might get a bloody nose here for a minute.
Going into 2015 then, what are your price expectations further out?
You know, I kind of think it's going to be typical. I think you're going to struggle through January and February, which are typically poor beef demand months anyway. You've got high-priced beef, and I think enough guys have held cattle here that you may have bunched up some marketings a little bit. Plus some other things that are going on, like there's going to be quite a few cows slaughtered right after the first of the year. So you might end up with a little more beef here than you anticipated initially, and I think that could pressure the market. But we never have cattle in March, and I don't think this year's not going to be any different. So I think as you get towards that grilling season, I think numbers are going to be pretty slight again, and you might start building this thing back up. Now, if all the cards fall right, you may go right back to where you were at these highs, but I think everything's got to kind of fall right, otherwise it's not happening.
The follow-up I have to the demand is that with much cheaper gas, is there a chance that the consumer who ran away from beef when it was too expensive now has more money and re-enters the market?
I think that's a great call, and that's what I hope. The thing that we had, the other issue we had going for us last fall while things were running up is the competing meats were not competing very well. They were high priced, pork was higher priced. But now those guys have kind of flipped their switch like they do, and you've got a lot more pork and a lot more chicken. So if that consumer doesn't feel very good, that stuff's going to be dramatically cheaper than beef. But you would hope demand will come back. I think a lot of that demand that may come back is you may see more visits to restaurants, and typically when people go to restaurants, they'll eat more beef.
Corn, as we go farther into 2015, it's right, what, around $3.50 cash right now, somewhere around there?
Well, no? It's a little higher than that actually right now, because basis is good. The farmer has, typically when the corn is in the farmer's hands, they call that weak-handed, but those weak hands have a lot of cash behind them, and they've been able to hold this corn really tight. And ethanol production has not slowed down, even with the drop in oil. To this point anyway, it hasn't. And so basis has been good, demand for corn has been good, but I think after the first of the year, you're going to see the typical thing where the farmer goes in and it's time to cash his check. And I think the air kind of comes out of this balloon, and we worked this corn lower for a while. Are you going to go back to the old lows? No, but gosh, I'd like to think we'd take 50, 60 cents out of this thing.
Well, gosh, that'd be nice for you, wouldn't it? Just a couple quarters out of it would really be nice, huh?
Anything cheaper would be good.
Okay, slaughter into the first quarter, first half of next year.
Well, all the big shots are saying it's going to be less, but I kind of wonder if we, the cattle feeder, haven't screwed this up a little bit by backing up cattle and some people holding them into next year, either because they don't like the price because we've had a break, or they want to make them bigger, or they're avoiding taxes. I don't know. But if we bunch enough cattle up into that first 2-3 weeks of January, plus you have a bunch of cows come into slaughter, because one of the things that's made this market good is we've had to grind in meats to supply lean for hamburger because we haven't had the cow slaughter. Well, there's going to be a lot of more cows coming to market out the first year. You've got these ginormous cattle coming to market. Imports of lean beef have been tremendous because the dollar is worth so much. They're having a drought in Australia. They got to get rid of cattle. We need lean beef, and the currency thing works perfect. So you're seeing a lot of lean get imported. I think the ice could be a little thin here. It could be a little tough sledding here after the first year for a little bit.
Now, you've said that you're okay with grinding into hamburger, though.
Absolutely. I love to grind ends into hamburger because that just gets more meat moved through, and we're great with that. but I think you lose some of that because you're allowed to get so much more lean in from imports, plus maybe a little more cow slaughter, and I think that could take that away from us, and your price is going to come down accordingly.
So to close out with, and we've talked about this before, but are you indicating that weights are only increasing coming out of the feed yard?
I would like to say they've leveled off, but they're dramatically higher than historical, and until Mother Nature either comes and makes it worse, or the packer comes with discounts, people are going to keep making cattle big.